Mr. Williams is gone. I'm here now.
Like any program, when a director changes, the students are initially upset. Just kids being kids and not realizing that everybody who comes in front of them as an educator has one goal, and that's to make them better humans and better musicians.
A lot of work to do to get the program going, and I knew it would be tough for a couple reasons. Transition year, when you have a new band director, it takes a while for the students to get used to the new guy. I asked Mr. Williams, when I knew Ms. Bamanis was leaving, I said, how would it be if I came over and I was your associate director? Well, Mr. Williams didn't like that idea. And I was very angry at him for that. And then I never spoke to him again until the next day. And I got over it. But, he didn't see me like as his former teacher, as an associate director. But then when Mr. Williams found out he was going to leave, which was about a week or so before school started, he called me up and he said, would you like to come and be the band director at Taravella? And I didn't want Taravella to get stuck with just somebody who was floating around and didn't have a job, So I said, yes, I will accept that position.
Everything will be fine, but typically students like to work and play specifically for certain teachers. And so if they can get it away from that mentality and be a little bit more mature, then we'll be all set. They're probably feeling very tired and frustrated, but if they can fight through that, then it will become successful.
Even though I know they miss Mr. Williams and a lot of the things that they came to expect and personality traits that he had, and I'm totally different. But as far as philosophy goes, Mr. Williams and I are pretty similar. We just have different ways of getting to the end result.
Upperclassmen just need to lead by example. They really don't need to say anything. As long as they're doing everything they're supposed to do, the freshmen will just follow in suit.
Taravella, I've always wanted to go here because I know the band, back in the day had like a lot of rep. And even coming here, always hearing about like different people talking about the school, that's why I felt really proud going here.
We're nationally recognized. I go places and I tell them I'm from Taravella, I'm from their band program, and they're immediately impressed. They immediately think of just excellence, or better said, they think of superiors.
Well, FBA is kind of the biggest deal at our school. and it's the biggest deal in the state for us because we have a long consecutive streak of straight superiors at FBA.
We have a phenomenal concert band. Our wind orchestra has, again, a straight superior streak of over 30 years, playing over grade 5s and going to the state level time and time again, and performing significant works of literature such as Pictures of at an Exhibition and Lincolnshire Posy.
I think it was 2008. Our winter guard made it to WGI finals and they scored first place in their category. It was Soldier Silent Night.
Yeah, we're just nationally recognized. I go places and it's incredible. I tell them I'm from Taravella's band program and they're immediately impressed. They know the legacy and they know the tradition, you know, and they understand that we hold these traditions clear. And it's small things like running on the field, getting to your dots fast. Even something as small as not walking on the grass, we hold so dear. And for 36 years, we've kept this consistent ideal.
I tried to understand the tradition, like why it was there and who created it. And then I try to make it a part of who I am as a musician, as something that is important, because the traditions usually should go on and on, you know?
The thing about the traditions at Taravella is it's what sets us apart from the other bands. We don't have any food or drinks in the band room, and it might seem like a small thing, but it's really important because it means all the world about just having something that keeps it clean. We want to make sure that we're always presentable. When we show up to competitions, we don't talk to other bands, we don't look at other bands, because we want them to know that when we're there and we mean business.
At first, I didn't really understand why we were so strict and all these traditions and stuff, but then over time, I started to understand that it's really important to respect and uphold all the traditions that people before have left.
Well, my sister was the drum major the year before I came in, so watching her go through the process and seeing all the amazing things that she was able to do and hearing all those stories, it just made me want to be a part of that. That's something that was bigger than myself, and I just really wanted to follow in her footsteps.
I just love the whole idea of being in band, being a part of something. You know, it's a fun community, and then you meet new people, you meet incoming freshmen, you know, that's the best part about it, just the freshmen and all. They're literally what the whole band program is about, meeting new people, inspiring new people, become musicians, get bigger and better at this whole program.
I've always liked music throughout my life, and I thought that playing an instrument would be a great opportunity. So I decided to play saxophone in 6th grade, and I've stuck with it ever since. I had friends that did marching band, and they told me that it was really awesome. So I was like, sure, why not?
I enjoyed playing in regular band back at my middle school. When I came to the Taravella Games with my middle school and I saw the art that was made by the marching band students, and I said, I wanted to be a part of that. And so I joined it when I came to the high school.
I like marching band because it's an opportunity for me to be with my friends and how I get to make music together, because I just love playing music.
I get to make more friends, I get to play harder music, I get to go to places I've never been, go to competitions, you know, meet other players, listen to their music.
I just chose to do it because it interests me in middle school. It gives me something to do. It's really fun. I have a lot of friends. I basically gain a whole new family.
The thing about band is it's all the friends that you make. It's the journey that you take. The community, the relationships that you build with people. You get to meet a bunch of new people. I probably made maybe 10, 20 friends due to all of this.
I probably wouldn't have had half as many friends if I didn't go into marching band.
I joined marching band because I thought it was mandatory that we had to do it, but over the course of time, I thought it was just fun and just like a part of life.
I probably wouldn't be in Windork when I got here if I didn't do marching band. But when I got here, it was all the set changing and the idea that we would be making pictures on the field for everybody else to see while making music at the same time that really intrigued me. And afterwards, I kind of just went with it, and it was fun. There's this feeling that I can't describe when you're with everybody else who you probably don't even know, but you're all just focused on the same notes and the same rhythms, and you're just making something that you know everybody else will enjoy.
I guess the many things I like about Taravella is just like the atmosphere, you know, the kids. I mean, yeah, they're a little obnoxious sometimes, but there's some cool kids. I love, you know, of course, the band program because that's like the best thing in the world.
Was just so excited for all the memories that I would make and all the experiences I would get to have being a part of the program. But I knew once I joined the program I would be part of a family and I would be part of something bigger, much bigger than I was, and years of people who had done what I was about to do prior to me, and just to kind of keep that legacy and just keep that going was what really helped push me.
It feels nice to at least once a day or like every other day you get to come to like a room and hang out with like a bunch of other people that you know and that you enjoy playing music with, and it just do that over and over again. It feels nice to have a family.
And it's just the camaraderie that we get. I really love just being able to have a group of people around me all working towards the same thing and everybody really being on the same page despite having next to no sleep and tired at all times. You know, we always knew that we were going to be together and we were going to be pushing for the same goal.
What I liked about band, originally I joined band just because my friends told me to join. But then after my 8th grade year, I have like a purpose and a reason in band. It gave me meaning to my life.
You walk on the field and you immediately feel a sense of responsibility just in the atmosphere, and it's weird. Just 36 years of tradition all laying on your shoulders, and it's crazier. The older you get, the heavier the weight gets. And it's funny on how you're just able to like grow and be able to hold all that weight by the time you're a senior. And it's absolutely amazing. You grow into this beautiful band program and you become a part of the Taravella tradition.
I just thought it'd be like a cool experience, and then like once I actually got into it, I really started liking it. And I also had some friends that were already in it.
Since my friends are joining marching band as well, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna share my experience with marching band with my friends.
Mostly I like band for the community, for the friends I've made and the people I know.
The friendship, the bonds are remarkable and something you can't have in any other program.
You can see that there are different kids and different likes and needs and backgrounds, and they all come together for one thing that they all want to do, which is play music and perform for people.
Well, I guess I do marching band because most of my friends do it, but I mean, I don't know, I kind of like it. Like, you can actually play loud.
For one, I love playing my instrument. I love the physical activity that helps to make sure I'm active at least some of the time.
Especially when we learn the show, it's fun because once you just like keep going through every like set and like all the drill and all the work that we do, because then you get to like make yourself better.
Well, mainly it's because I just want to get better at my instrument in general, and I heard that if I go to marching band, I could just, you know, I can receive help from upperclassmen and just all in all gain more endurance.
I love playing the music, especially, and then playing like the big hits are like one of my favorite parts.
The reason I joined marching band is just because I already liked being in the regular ensemble, but whenever I saw the shows, it was really just almost like magnificent seeing like the hundreds of kids.
It's like a relief of stress, and it's just like a way to meet friends. It's just, I think meeting new people
every year, meeting new people, meeting new friends, and no matter your age, from a senior to a freshman, it's comfortable.
I love that my team turns into my best friends and my family, and that they're there for me whenever I need them.
Well, first of all, like being in a lot for band is just crazy fun. You're just so hype and everything at competitions, FBA, even at rehearsals.
Like, you know how everyone has their own sport, so marching band was like a sport for me.
No, it's the whole atmosphere about band is literally why I'm staying here. I'm motivated to do it, motivated to do everything. I would do everything in my power. But if I didn't love band and love the people here, love the atmosphere, love the directors, I wouldn't be in here regardless. Like, nothing would stand in my way to be here.
Because a freshman comes in, they're like, what is going on here? They don't know what a competition is yet. They might have heard about them or seen one, but they just don't know what that experience is going to be like. So they're just kind of going by whatever the upperclassmen are telling them to do and whatever the directors are telling them. And, you know, that's a good thing, I think, because you don't want them to develop too many opinions before they can actually have an experience, so, you know, to go by. And usually after the first football game and after the first competition, most people are hooked and they really like it. So then by the end of the year, even though it's tiring and everyone's ready for a break at the end of marching season, by this time of the year, everyone's all excited about marching band again. So we announce the show, we pass out the music, everyone's all excited, and it starts off, you know, really positive, so that's a good thing.
But I think our leaders, specifically some of the younger ones who necessarily aren't maybe as attached just yet, are excited for the change and the challenge, and they're going to step up, and we're going to have a successful year regardless.
Actually, when I started to do band, I was tricked by Mr. Williams. He said just come by and see how everything was and then tell me if you wanted to join or not. And I came by, looked around. Before I knew it, I was sitting on drum set and he was like, all right, let's play.
When I first entered pre-band camp, you know, I was curious. I was curious to see what was going to happen. And it turned out to be like kind of complicated at first. You know, learning all the new stuff, learning the new ways to march and everything. But during pre-band camp was when I met a bunch of people that I'll have relationships for like the next 3 years after my freshman year.
Well, normally I guess freshmen would feel kind of scared because they're newbies, but I didn't really feel scared. I felt confident in my abilities, and I met with my section and they were all really nice people. So I thought that we were like a nice little family.
It was very welcoming, and the way that they like introduce you into band, the way they bring you into it, it's very friendly. It's very like family-like in a way.
Started talking to our section and introducing each other. It was so much fun, and I do not regret doing band at all. Meeting the kinds of people that you do, you cannot get the same reaction or same interesting facts about them in any other club.
What we try to do is welcome the freshmen that come in, basically try to bring them in, make them feel comfortable, and basically make them like band. So it can be like a fun experience for them. To teach them the basics, basic techniques of marching and how to hold an instrument and how to do parade rests and simple stuff like that.
Nothing can compare to the experience I had now. Not even like the whole season started off with pre-band camp. If you did well in pre-band camp, the whole season, it had a bright future.
Hopefully they're feeling excitement, maybe a little bit anxious, but they're probably a little bit intimidated, but we'll do our best to immediately rid that and make them feel part of the group.
When we're doing the meeting at the end, when we're talking with them, like, it was actually really surprising. They saw pre-band camp and they didn't see it as work. They actually saw it as a lot of fun, and it's well-deserved work. Like, you could actually do a lot of work and still have fun regardless of the pain throughout or whatever. Summer practices are a little demonstration of what marching band actually is. When we went to Riverside Park, we got to talk about how basically how to hold the instrument, basically what to do, a little introduction to PT. It was really funny seeing some of them try running the lap for the first time.
They would teach us how to march, and we had to learn how to play. It was much harder than some of the music we played in middle school, but I learned it, and I think I kind of played better than some of the other people in the section.
I never really have a problem with memorizing music, but sure, like the freshmen sometimes do, like they're not used to it or something, and it's always kind of like a struggle, but they get it after a while.
You know, there's still people who didn't know their part and everything like that, but it's that whole experience, you know, helping people out, trying to, you know, be that role model, that person of motivation for them in order to be better and like help the section.
Basically, I got to go over music and marching, and they actually got to work together. We did a couple activities, such as like suicides and stuff like that, where they actually got to work together. They didn't see it as like effort. They didn't see it as work. They saw it as like just hanging out with their friends at the park. It's really interesting to see.
Even still, every time I come out, I wake up really late and I'm like, I don't want to go, but I end up going anyway because I love band.
I came back, I still knew my part. You know, I can play the notes. It was pretty much a breeze, and I was just doing whatever I had to do.
At first, it was normal because it was just going to be another marching band year. I mean, obviously, every year is different.
Some days we started out inside playing as a full band in the band room or in the auditorium for like an hour or so. And then we would go outside, start doing basics, teaching everyone how to march.
Band camp is starting to finally march and play and start knowing the drill and start having the story of the show come along together.
When I first went into band camp, basically it started out doing all the same stuff that we've been doing all summer. It was pretty easy, but then the second day of band camp, we were introduced to a new concept that none of the freshmen have ever gotten before: drill.
Learning how to play while walking or marching was also really hard too, because it's like multitasking. And when you're playing an instrument, you're already multitasking, so adding more stuff on top of it, it gets challenging. But after you do it for so long, it's a piece of cake.
Like, we're teaching like the freshmen and or the newer members who come in, like, we do a lot of hard work, but at the end it pays off. Like 1 week and we can have like the first 3 or something minutes of the show.
Well, since we had the summer practices and the summer sectionals, it wasn't that different for like a while, but then like we started working a lot harder. We started learning how to march and everything. So we had new problems, but we overcame them pretty quickly.
If I had to choose one word, I would say tiring.
I don't think I've ever known pain until band camp. Little 7 hours a day. Oof. It was tough.
It was actually very intense because it was during the day, the last week of summer. There was a lot of work, a lot of sun.
Basically, it was like 8 to 20 hours a week of getting sweaty. And since I'm like the least fit person I know, band camp and just band in general got really challenging for me.
It was really hard at first, but after a while, it just became a routine that I accepted and enjoyed. It was a lot of physical energy that I wasn't used to, and it was really hard at first.
Band camp is actually time to push your limits.
It involved a lot of movement, it involved a lot of marching and difficult playing at the same time. So it was a lot of hard work that was needed during that band camp time.
I'd do it every week if I had to. I'd live it again and again and again and again. I love band camp, you know, I love being fit, love being active, love playing on instruments.
It's really interesting because people were actually like looking ahead, like freshmen were doing upperclassmen things and looking ahead at their part and seeing if they could figure out where they are. So then at the beginning, even Miss Lewis noticed we were getting together really fast, a lot compared to the last couple of years. It was really interesting to see.
Going in, I'm not gonna lie, it's difficult. We push hard hours and it's warm outside.
Definitely some challenges would have to be being out in the sun for such long hours.
You feel like you're dying because it's how hot it is outside, and you just kind of want to be like, wow, I kind of feel like giving up, but you don't, because you know you keep going.
Probably one of the most rigorous parts of the whole season, and it's near the beginning really. It's where we start preparing the drill on the field, where we learn the most stuff. You either have to get up early in the morning or stay until a little late at night in order to practice.
At first, what band can seem like is just doing reps over repetitively, playing the same song over and over. Sure, it can get tiring, it can get boring. Like, people can be bipolar with band. At some points, they think it's the best thing in the world. At others, it interferes with life. But it's more than that.
Well, before the first performance, it's hard to see what you're really working for. Because you're out here and it's hot and you're running around with a bunch of sweaty people standing on chalk marks.
Then when you go into it and you realize you start getting doubtful of band, then you know that you're already really far into it. And if you're so far into it, you can't quit.
The sun. Like, no doubt, it was the sun. The sun was like, it was kind of like that dry heat where the sun is like just beaming on you, and it's just like there's no breeze, no wind. It's not even like you're moving around, you just have to stand there and just feel the heat.
Well, you'll warm up, you'll learn a little bit of something, and then you'll work on it. Work on it for strenuous hours at a time. Maybe get 1 or 2 water breaks at the least, and then you just keep doing it. You keep doing it over and over again.
What it really comes down to is how cohesive as a group you are. You know, how much you guys work together. And I think the best thing about it is it comes down on how much you keep the old traditions and how much you group and create new friends. Once those two things meet, it's something incredible happens.
From pre-band camp and summer rehearsals, band camp, the first years open up more as both person and a musician. And it's just amazing to see them grow from what they learned over the summer.
I'd say they fit in once they feel the connection with the rest of their section and with the rest of their band, because they finally see the purpose that we have to do to finish our show and to get it done. And so they connect with everybody else once they see, oh, we have to get the show done, you know? We have to put on a production.
It's very challenging and difficult, but everyone gets past it. Everyone helps each other get through their own personal hurdles.
At the end of the 5 days of band camp, we have a picnic on the day after, and it's called the Parent Preview, where we just have a barbecue, and afterwards we perform our show.
Finally, to start playing the music is amazing. It's honestly the best feeling in the world.
Basically perform the beginning of our show, what we had learned during band camp to our parents. And I was both nervous and excited at the same time because I wanted to show all of our parents and people who I knew
what exactly we've been doing for a week, but I was also incredibly afraid of messing up.
You had an audience, and even though it wasn't to be judged or anything, and your parents would think you did amazing either way.
Yeah, when the school year starts, it gets a little difficult because you have classes, online classes, AP classes, and then you have marching band. But the most important thing I did was just being able to manage your time correctly. Like before rehearsal starts, you do some homework, and then after you finish the other homework.
It was like very stressful because I had to organize my AP class and band together, and that like to other people that may not seem so much as a challenge because there were other people in band who had like 4 AP classes, but like for a freshman it's very difficult because you're not used to like all this stuff after school.
When school started, it was a lot harder to do marching band because schoolwork and marching band at the same time it's a lot to juggle. I would sometimes stay up until 12 finishing homework that I procrastinated on but had rehearsal that day. And rehearsal would be after school until like 8.
Well, in my experience, the band kids already have a lot of skills. They come equipped with balancing out the demands of marching band and school. I often get super excited when I have a class that has several band students because I know that those students are disciplined and must have some innate or built-in time management and discipline skills to keep up with the demands of band and getting their good grades that they do.
Honestly, I don't think it's as difficult as people make it seem. As long as you have a schedule and stick to it, you could go to all events and make sure everything is possible and happens.
Well, they probably don't sleep a whole lot. I'm guessing that they have a lot of late nights, and it would be my assumption, and I've kind of seen it in action, that the band students, they have a good network of support. They have study sessions and people they work with, other students they work with outside of class. Well, keep doing what you're doing, and we really appreciate your hard work and dedication, and not only to the band but to your studies. Most students who are in band that I know are also very successful academically, so we want to say thanks for reminding us that what you put into it is what you get out of it, that if you work hard and you're determined and you keep up a good attitude and stay focused, that you can be successful with extracurricular activities as well as your academics.
When band starts, we would all have to stay in the band room in a specific lineup order. And then after the announcements were given by Mr. Proctor, or whoever's gonna give the announcements, we would all head outside and do our laps, and then stretches, warm-ups, and then we would run the show and, edit it.
We all go into the band room for concert arc, and then we disperse, and then we usually go into the hallway or wherever to go out and stretch and warm up, and then that's about 30 minutes to an hour depending on how long.
Guard would either go outside to the side parking lot to start rehearsing maybe some flag work or weapon line work if we're on weapon line, or we would go on the side by the portables and we would start stretching and warming up, or maybe in the hallway.
And then we run through the show a few times, and then after that we usually head up to the field, and then we meet the rest of the ensemble. What we do with the ensemble is we get set at whatever set they're at and whatever movement, and then we run a few shows.
And then from there we go on to drill, and we try to clean things up and make sure everything's working. In between we'll throw in some basics, and we definitely get our workout. We'll throw in some physical training, lots of push-ups and laps, but it's all just working towards making the drill cleaner.
Pretty much like what band camp was, except now I knew everything and I was learning new stuff, and I still had to like apply it.
It was mainly just get in there, work on drill. It felt very similar to the summer, but at the same time, you just went through school.
You go to band rehearsal and you meet all your friends and you start working on this incredible program. You start doing a lot. Like, it's a little bit of an adjustment when your year first starts, because you're given all this free time during the summer, all this free time in middle school, or even if you're from a different school. It's a bit of an adjustment, but by the time you get used to it, it's just something you enjoy. Like, you look forward to those Tuesdays and Thursdays being on the field.
And we would start rehearsing different parts of the show that we need to work on. And throughout the night, we would change different sections of the show, or we would start from one part and take it all the way to the end.
It's different every single practice. It feels like we never really do the same thing, unless it's like one part of the show that we really just need to clean and get together. Then that's when we'll probably do that twice in a week.
Basically work ethic, especially since some of the other upperclassmen teach you. Just be consistent, because consistency is really the only reason you're not going to lose everything you learn.
You know, it was a bit frustrating when things weren't going your way, but you just gotta suck it up and just keep on going, because the whole outlook of it is that this whole program is bigger than just you itself. It's about everybody invested into it. Everybody who's paying money just to be in it. Everybody who's taking their own personal time and effort just in their program to make something bigger than yourself and to portray it to 50,000 eyes plus. You know, it's a feeling that is larger than life itself.
The first football performance, I was a little nervous because I wanted to make sure I didn't mess up and I hit all my dots. Kind of nervous for all the other kids so we didn't bump into each other.
First football game is always stressful because the first football game, as freshmen don't know what they're doing, they don't know where to go, what to do, what's the procedure, the lineup and all that.
I thought my glasses were gonna fall on the field. I thought I was gonna go blind for like 3 seconds. I thought I was gonna hit everyone else in front of me with my ball. I was freaking out.
We didn't have a big audience or anything, but it would feel really intimidating that you have these bleachers that, even though they're not huge, they felt huge from the field. It felt like you were the center of the world.
I'm always nervous, because first impressions are very important. And even if like we didn't get the entire show, even if it's just a little bit, you still want to have that good first impression, especially this year's music, where we had big hits almost everywhere in our very first movement.
Well, I would have to get really focused, make sure I knew exactly what I had to do, and make sure not to mess up.
The beginning of second quarter, we go down and we start to warm up and just kind of get comfortable and go over some things that we may feel that we will struggle with throughout the run-through, and we just kind of get in our serious mode at that point.
We go out there, I treated it like our first competition. I was completely serious. We walked out on the field, stood there in lines, tension. Everyone was extremely high. You could almost feel the energy coming from the band at our football game.
Well, I remember it was a really hype performance, and it was a really hype performance because once we played our big hit for the crowd just
went wild, and I've never seen a crowd go wild over a marching band show that isn't like popular music of today.
So once you have that first performance under your belt, once you've felt the rush, once you've put on the uniform and marched a full show, it really just gives weight to what you're doing. It makes it all seem like it's coming together, like you really are making progress and making something happen.
Okay, so this is what we got to do. This is not a competition, but you still have to act like this is a competition. So if you mess up here, you know what to work on. Basically, this is like a practice test for your marching band skills. We wouldn't play the complete show at first, but we would play most of it. Then you go out there for football games. We'd stand in lines at attention for a very, very long time. And then we go out in the stands, and we have to stand at low, be like very solid-like. Eventually, when Ashley said release or relax, or then you could actually talk to your friends, stuff like that, and watch the game if you want. Most of us banders just talked about music regardless of the football game anyways. But eventually we played some of our favorite stand tunes, joking around, dancing around. It's a really fun time.
For one thing, everybody needs to make sure that they know their stand tunes in order to have fun in the stand, so we can have, like, if the other band shows up, we can get engaged in a little bit of a war with them or whatever. And but if not everybody knows their music, not everybody's playing, it won't be as fun.
So when we get back, you got to teach them about, you know, the positions and soul finger, you know, the dancing. Just making sure that, to let them know that even though it's a lot of fun, that when it's time to play and it's time to go, that it's time to go.
Well, while the band performs their stand tunes, we also dance. They were telling us just pay attention and do what we've been taught, and we'll know what we have to do and get it done.
I play cymbals, so I'll just tell the freshmen, this is what we're playing with the drum line and everything. This is what's going on. When the cheerleaders come, this is what you do. The most important thing you can do, though, is have as much fun as possible.
The actual football game was so much fun. I had my friends all around me, new friends that I had made in marching band camp, and old friends. So we were all just hanging out in the stands. It was really nice, and our football team was winning for once.
Learning about all the fun that we had, all the traditions they had there, how the cheerleaders came over and we had some fun with them, and how we basically just got to converse with each other. We didn't really pay attention to the actual games.
After that first football game, I felt like it was my need to, you know, show people what I can do in a way. But in the practices, it made me really focus better.
It was like, okay, in the past we did hours and hours of rehearsal, and now I saw what the benefits of them are and what the result is, so I want to make that happen again.
I learned that my section needs to stop overblowing. We need to work on drill, and that actually made me, like, my section was telling me that we need to have more sectionals, and I love it because I've always wanted to have more sectionals. It was really fun seeing them like, oh, I'm not bad, I just need to work on it.
You want to get stuff done, you've got to learn how to prioritize things and work methodically, step by step, until they're completed, okay, without procrastinating and all that. So I think band is really helpful in that regard.
So when it came to dot learning, at first it was all weird and wonky because I'm a freshman. You started like naturally being able to find your dot and find like the dots you had in the past and flow through them easily.
Hopefully they're thinking, yay, new drill, and let's keep working, keep applying the same mentality that you had during band camp.
Well, we would have chalk, everyone had a piece of chalk, and then we would look at these coordinate sheets, and we would look where we are in correlation to the yard lines and the sideline, and we would have to, once we mark off our coordinates, we would have to mark it with the chalk. Every football game, we get off the bus, take our instruments out, and then go into lineup, and percussion will play their cadence too. We'll mark off and go into our stands. And then we would play stand tunes, all that stuff.
Have fun here on the football team, play stand tunes. That's the time for the band to kind of be bandos, just have fun with each other as long as they're not being too embarrassing.
This year I was really excited for our football games just because I had gone through them before and I knew all of our our traditions and our hype songs that we would play.
You're just jamming out, playing music. We always have to bring an extra stick because we just ruin it because we get so excited, especially when there's another band because we do funny stuff.
Football games are really fun. We're standing most of the time, and whenever our team scores, we play the fight song, which is really fun.
Since I'm in guard, I do the stand dances, and those are really fun because that's when you get to pretty much just let go and you don't have to worry about what's coming up, having to do the show. That's pretty much when the band just relaxes and has fun.
Well, during any football game, we would have cheerleaders come to the band area, and then we would do all these chants.
Well, some of the stand tunes we played were Brooklyn. That's really fun to play. There was ESPN.
This is a great time because you get to blast. You get to do all the unconventional stuff. Keep that nice tone for it, all that stuff. You get to actually let go in the stands. And then when you get on the field, you have your tops a little nice and warmed up, and you get all your bad tone out, and then you can really rock the crowd.
We would jump around while playing the stand tunes and then doing the Hey Burrito with the cheerleaders. It was actually a lot of fun. It was a really good experience.
It's also just give all your attitude, have as much fun as you can because it is a fun experience and you just enjoy every moment of it. We're always taking selfies and usually interacting with the percussion, whatever they decide to play.
Again, just put yourself in the mindset of performing. If you're out in the hot sun wearing, your black gym shorts and your white band shirt, and we're rehearsing at 9 o'clock in the morning on a competition day, hopefully we've taught them and they know that their mind should be already at the competition.
That was scary. FBA was kind of it is a pretty big deal, especially here because we have so many years. We have a streak going.
The FBA competition was very stressful because 35, 36 years of straight superiors, and we didn't want to be that class that ruins those straight superiors.
That is where our tradition is. That's this is where we put in probably the most focus in all of the whole season, even more than probably some of our competitions afterwards, just because our tradition at Taravella is to have we've had more than 35 years of superiors at FBA.
For your FBA, every section leader probably treated their sections like hell. We had a recurring tradition that every year at FBA, we get a superior, and being a freshman, everybody, including the sophomores and the upperclassmen, would look at us and say, "You better not mess this up for us," especially the seniors.
Making sure that we keep that tradition of straight superiors. You don't want your section to be that one section that causes the band to get an excellent or anything under superior at that point.
I mean, I for one was thinking about the years of students behind me that have upheld the tradition themselves, and I was hoping that I could do it myself.
So I felt like me and all the other juniors and seniors, like we had like a mutual understanding of what was sort of happening. We had a large senior class leave, a big freshman class come.
Taravella's tradition, they have never gotten less than a straight superior at any FBA, and that's impressive. FBA is an assessment, and it's very important because that shows, just that one performance can tell you if you're a good band or if you're a superior band or a fair band, poor band, good band.
It was a lot later in the year, and I felt a lot better about myself in my technique in both marching and playing.
I remember that day we were all very serious because we wanted to make sure that we weren't the class that messed up the tradition. So that day everybody was really focused, and it was a very productive day.
I'm well aware of how great the history of this program is, but still, as an outsider, you don't know the little ins and outs and the details, and they had to kind of teach me some of that, some of the motivational little speeches and sayings that cheers that we do with the students.
It was great just being able to try to get everyone pumped up to be able to keep the tradition that we so love dearly and what we all strive to keep intact.
FBA, everybody was trying to get their serious game face on. We were all on the bus ride with just sitting and thinking to ourselves, this is our first competition. This determines how we move from here.
The most nervous part about going up going on the floor for FBA is the legacy that Taravella has.
Regardless of who is here, regardless of what band it is, we are going to be the kids to keep the streak going.
Well, FBA Day is our biggest day, hands down. With our longest running streak in the state, it is our biggest performance.
We're all just moving, we're all having fun with each other and playing music, and we sort of just look around and everyone's just like in the moment, playing the music.
We had to put in a lot of work to keep the traditions alive this year. We had a really big freshman class coming in, so it kind of dilutes the tradition because they're not aware of it. So after FBA, you know, everybody was kind of just riding the fact that, like, oh, there we go again. You know, we did it, we're really good. But what you have to realize is that the straight superiors doesn't mean that's the end. You know, you can relax for a moment, you can let the weight come off your shoulders, but there's always still more work to do. So keeping the tradition alive after that was just making sure that everybody was still listening, everybody was still following directions, everybody was still involved. You know, when we're out on the field, there's a lot of talking, we can't have any of that. It's got to be focused. So coming off of that success, you really have to push them. Like when we're trying to reset, we have to run, get there as fast as we can, make sure we waste no time, make sure we're doing as much as we can to get ready for the next run.
We try to practice like we're going to perform so that when we go out to do a performance, just another run through of our show, you know. And the more you do it, the better the students get at performing, because they learn how to deal with their nerves and how to recover from small errors that might occur on the field, you know, and how to work together as a team to make it the best possible run.
That affected the band practices is not, okay, so now we know we're good, but we need to get better. We are only at good. We are good, better, best. We only are at good right now. So we have to keep working. Regardless of getting straight superiors, we still need to work on things.
I mean, it just gave us motivation to work harder every single rehearsal and clean the drill as much as we could.
There's some individual things I wanted to work on in later rehearsals. It showed me that if you trust in the process, if you believe in everybody, that everything will work out for the best, and that the results will come in if you put in the work.
I felt like I could do anything. With my friends at my side, I felt unstoppable with them. So I really decided to push myself in the last rehearsals for the next competition.
I was worried that they were losing focus because when we have those days scheduled, everything's very timely, and we plan enough time where the student's focus has time to grow and then hopefully peak at the right moment.
That was stressful because we just came off of a superior and it was our first real competition, and we wanted to prove that this is our show, we came to win. In the morning, we were kind of freaking out because the news were saying it was gonna rain, and we didn't know if we'd be fine to rehearse or we'll be fine to perform, or if the weather would impact how we would perform and how the judges would see us.
Okay, well we got delayed for quite a while. We had to stay on the buses, and it got hot after a while. So yeah, that wasn't great.
Might have slowed us down a little bit. It might have taken away some of our competitive edge, because we were sitting in the bus there for a couple hours just waiting and waiting and waiting. And it kind of throws off your mojo a little bit.
We were stuck on the bus, and like all the parents were running around trying to figure out if we were still going to be able to perform. And then as the guard, we had to like rush and quickly get ready on the bus, and then we still had to practice. And of course, it's really hard to march and perform while in the rain, because you know the field's like slippery and there's mud, and you're afraid if something's going to happen, then you're going to mess up the show.
You know, as upperclassmen, we just make sure that my other teammates were okay, and I was like, okay guys, just calm down, you know, we'll get through this. We're just gonna go to warm up, you know, everything will be okay.
It looked like it was like an actual stadium that like professional marching bands go to, so it was a lot bigger than I was used to, and it looked like really professional, and it intimidated me.
You know, some people hate rain. They're like, oh my gosh, just got my hair did. For me personally, it's always a morale booster. It lifts me up, it gets me motivated. Like, nothing can stop me. Your weather, so what? I don't really care. I'm out here, thanks for the cooling off, and I'm ready to get work done.
When we got on that field, I mean, I could just feel my chest pumping a little bit, and I looked into the audience, I looked at the press box, then I looked at my mates, and I was like, we got this.
We came on that field and it was a lot different. it wasn't even real grass.
The rain, it really makes you nervous. You think about, oh, the grass is going to be slippery, you're going to fall at a really big performance.
We go to the big hit, nailing my line, like nailed it. It was like the straightest I've ever seen our first line, surprisingly.
The rain is just off and on, and the wind, the rifles, the weapon line, rifles flying all over the place.
Me personally, I feel like that was my best run. Like, my horn angle was perfect 10 degrees. My technique was perfect. I didn't mess up any notes. I feel like that was my best run that we've ever done.
It was kind of hard to play. It was kind of hard marching through the rain.
VBeta competition was amazing. I was really happy and looked forward because it was one of my best performances. I still gave it my all. You know, Susan gave it our all. It was a pretty clean run.
My marching technique, I felt like it got weird and lopsided. I felt like I almost slipped during when the rain came, but I came in for the clutch.
It was very difficult because the ground was wet, so we were all slipping around, and it was really windy, so a lot of equipment was flying forward.
But the run, it was pretty good, but it wasn't necessarily our best.
At first, we thought we might not be even able to play tonight. I don't know what it was, but the rain just, instead of making it harder to march, if anything, it just made it like more smooth to walk over the turf.
That was probably the best performance in a percussion standpoint. I remember when we were marching the percussion break, and then when the basses went into like their whole planking thing, and then like the audience went crazy, like, yeah, woohoo! Like they all started laughing.
Well, you know, not all bands go to the state championships. That's one area where we need to step up for next year in order to make sure we have those funds available when we want to do these extra trips and performances, because they are very expensive. And, you know, with the economy the way it is, people can't afford to just pay out of pocket or come up with hundreds of dollars for the band program when we need it.
We all just said to each other one day in the guard room, we said, Park Vista is going to be our last competition and we have to give it all on that field.
And there were like one or two people, like a few people who were disappointed in their own personal performance, and people just, we were cheering them up. We were telling them that, you know, what they did this entire season was just beautiful, not to worry about the little things that they may have messed up on.
We broke through like all of the remaining music that we didn't finish, and then we went through it all over again, and then we went through the whole piece. We were just kind of getting We were just trying to rush and get through it as quick as we could, working hard, working smart.
We learned about, we have slight balance issues. Some sections we were playing very boisterous and very loud. Some sections need to come out a little bit. When we're doing drill, we had to coordinate a little bit more visual so we could get a better score at Park Vista because there was a couple things.
The most successful people travel through hardship first. You have to get knocked down before you can get up and rise further up. So when you're faced with that wall of it's hot out or I'm tired, my feet hurt, I'm sweating, there's sweat in my eye, if you let that stuff defeat you, then we won't get anywhere and you won't become productive. But if you fight through that, that's when the change happens and that's when you start getting better at things.
I was scared because since we weren't able to go to states, this was going to be our last competition, and we really had to make it mean something for like all the seniors.
To me, I just hope they're focusing on their show and their music and their performance and making it the best they can make it. You know, I try not to, I don't like the students to be thinking about, oh, this is my last show, I'm a senior, I'm graduating, and then emotions kick in, and that's when mistakes can happen. So we try to just focus on our task, and then when it's over, then we can celebrate.
We accepted that we weren't going to FMBC, so we made Park Vista our FMBC. We said we're going to give it our all this entire rehearsal and for the rehearsals coming up because we don't know, because we weren't going to have another one. And so we just did it. We did as much as we could, and it was impactful.
And so going up into it, we really wanted to pull everybody together. We wanted to make sure that they all realized the gravity of the situation. We wanted to make sure that nobody was slacking off into the end, nobody was feeling down on themselves. We want to make sure everybody just was happy and ready to go in there and do what needed to be done.
I'm not even gonna lie, there were some rocky moments in there, but somehow we end up taking the bad moments and morphing it into good moments. Some people don't even know what champions are, but they have to be their best self in order to be a champion. A champion is whatever you make a champion. That's what you have to do to rehearse for the Park Vista competition. Park Vista's competition is a different animal. Everybody wants to go to Park Vista competition. Everybody loves Park Vista competition. You want to know why? Because you have the best bands there, whatever.
Well, by that point, they were ready. And we were just tweaking and polishing details at that point in the year. So we had FBA, then we had Jupiter, then we had Park Vista. And Park Vista was kind of like our grand finale. So at that point of the season, the band is ready.
Okay, We get vendors for the event. We make sure that they're comfortably set up so they can come, and that's a fundraising situation because they're renting space to come. Anything you could think of putting on a competition show, it falls in my lap. We have a judge's room where they eat, we feed them. We have a director's room, we feed them. So anyway, long story short, we put together director's kits, so when they come through the door, they know where things are. They have the wristbands for the competition. We have a concession stand that's out for everybody to eat.
Well, first of all, we love hosting our invitational here. It's usually the first week of November. You know, we love welcoming new bands to our school. We contact the directors very early on, and they express interest in coming, and we pretty much try to lay out the red carpet for them. You know, anything that they need, anything that they want, we try to have them and take care of them.
Many different bands from all over the place come to our school and perform their shows and just compete as another competition. So many parents and volunteers that come and help out. A lot of our own band and guard members did themselves, and we just like sell food and water and just make sure every band that comes to compete here has what they need and is ready to perform.
We enjoy like the vibe of the South Florida bands, and you know, it's good to be able to give back. Biggest way we make bands feel welcome when they come to our show is really by having like that whole supportive group of volunteers and band guides. Really, it's that and also having, you know, as many hospitality things as we can. Water stations, even like a judge and director hospitality room.
We set up the place the night before. All the various tents that you see around and all the various tables are all set up. We're here from 6 o'clock in the morning until 12 o'clock at night the night before, and then the next day. We are here forever, and it's so much fun because nobody ever wants to go home. Because again, we've made a very exciting, successful event.
Months before it happens, we've already started to get teams and started to get a plan for making it a great success. So it takes a lot of work. There's so many things that we have to do, from making sure the judges are taken care of, making sure the bands are taken care of, feeding the bands, making sure that their facilities are adequate, the warm-up areas, and then making sure that we have enough volunteers to just make sure everything goes on without any problems. So it's a great undertaking, but we enjoy doing it, and we start very early in the process to make sure it's a great success.
There were a lot of bands there. I wasn't really intimidated by them. Like, to me, I'm just thinking our band, our sound, our technique, our everything.
It was like any other competition that we always have. You know, we get to practice early. We practice in the morning out on the football field. The only thing that was different was the fact that it was our final one for the season. So everybody was kind of hectic in a way. They wanted to make sure they were grinding enough to make it the best performance that they had, so that way we can go out with like a bang.
They just had to be mature and know that they're performing their show for them, and it's not about what venue it's at, it's not about the judges watching, it's not even about the directors watching. It's about them having a connection to that music, that drill, and the students around doing it with them.
I don't know why it sort of like struck me in the head then that this was it, it's all over now as soon as we step off that field. But that's when it happened, and I just started like crying and crying before we even went on the field. So like half of my mind was like, oh God, stop crying. I'm going to play bad if I keep crying like this. And then half of me was just like, no, marching band's ending.
Other than the large number of bands,
It was mostly the fact that it was our last tournament that basically invigorated the whole band. So we thought, if this is going to be our last one, this has to be the best one we've ever done so far.
While we were warming up, you could just feel the intensity of the entire band and the determination to like show this product off that we've been working on all year, and we wanted to do the best we could out there. And it was after all the warm-up and everything, Mr. Proctor came in the middle of all of us and we huddled up and he read us a speech. It hit all of us hard and a lot of us were crying.
I was thinking I wanted to make this the best run I've ever done because the seniors deserved it, the band deserved it, we all deserved everyone to at least go full out because that would have been the last time that we would have performed our show.
Well, unlike Jupiter, there were a ton of schools there, so I of course was intimidated, as I bet anybody else was. But at the same time, I felt that I was extremely ready, extremely well prepared, as the entire band was.
I think that your accomplishments are not measured in the score that you receive, but your accomplishments should be measured in the type of feeling that you get after you complete your goal. So if the seniors went out and did their marching show, and like you're saying at Park Vista, if they marched their hearts out and if they're very happy with their performance, then they've won. To me, as long as you guys felt like you kicked it and you killed that day, then that was it for us.
Well, after retreat, we found out our scores, but it didn't really matter at that point because I'd kind of come to grips with the fact that that was it, and I was happy with my last performance, and I was happy how the band did on the last performance. So being done with it, there was nothing to be sad about, there's nothing to be worried about, because it was done, and we done the best that we could, and that was all.
Yeah, you know, I know our invitational was, last year was Taravella's last performance here, and we just hope it was such a great performance, that it was a great venue, and we gave them everything that they needed for that last important performance. As I said earlier, Taravella is a band that we've always looked up to. When I first started teaching and I first moved down here to Florida, the first band that I heard about was the J.P. Taravella High School Band, and about the long-standing history of that ensemble. And watching them last year at our invitational just reminded me of the legacy that all those students stand on. And we certainly hope that, with that being their last competition, that they got everything that they wanted out of it, and that they wowed the judges as much as they wowed so many other spectators who were watching them.
Park Vista felt exactly the same as State had in years past to me. The energy was the same from the kids. They were all still crying and hugging and being excited to perform one last time with all their friends. So I felt no difference. So I'm kudos to the band for keeping it up.
Something that Mr. Williams and I always wanted you guys to believe in is that it doesn't matter what kind of trophy is there for you at the end of the day. What matters is your feeling about your hard work. And if the seniors feel like they did their best and it was their best performance that they could do, then to me, they're the world champions. You know what I mean? That's something that we always hoped for you guys. We always wanted you guys to try your best, work your hardest, and that was the goal.
I would say band is the thing that's prepared me for life the most. The lessons that I've learned, just to keep pushing. Like whatever you feel like you're done, like that's all the energy you got left, there's always some way to dig deeper. There's always some way to keep moving forward. And the ability to talk to people, to get along with people, and to just think around a situation is definitely the biggest things I've pulled away from band. And the fact that I've always got a family here. I mean, Taravella is always going to be my home. The band room is my home.
I think Taravella is that special place. I'm just very happy for these students who are now seniors, and I wish I could have been there to see them grow up and come to seniors. I'm always watching from afar. I'm always keeping up with everybody's lives. I'm always making sure, I'll ask some of the band parents I'm friends with on Facebook, and we still call and text each other, and they'll give me the updates, and like you're giving me an update now. So Miss B is always watching from afar as kind of like I'm so proud as an admiring mother to these guys. I'm just very proud of them.
When you're playing with all the seniors, all the juniors, all the upperclassmen, and egging you on to be better, do better, have a great tone, have a great posture, do incredible things, you really want to be bigger and better than life.
And that's probably the one thing that I'll cherish is those people that I met and just getting really close with the band kids. I've created a lot of friendships that I know I'll have after graduating high school.
Here, my band experience was very emotional, and I connected with a lot of people, made some friends, made some goofy friends, just awesome.
And I ended up loving it. It was like one of the best times of my life. And it just brings out a whole different side of you, like this really hardworking, serious, yet still fun side of you, and it's great.
I was excited and ready for the next thing. We have winter concert, jazz band, everything. The second you put down one thing in this program, you got to pick up another one. So the very next day, we were gearing up for what was to come.
Since this was my first year here, I really couldn't have asked more from the students. I know there's a lot of schools where they get a new band director and the program literally falls apart. I have to say I'm really proud of the students for pushing through that, and maintaining and keeping the traditions, really high and making them important to this program. So I'm just looking for bigger and better things next year.
Whenever you're hiding from the storm, I'll be the light that keeps you warm. In an unfamiliar place, I will be the guiding face you know, waiting to take you home. Oh. Through the fire we will go, underneath the sparks we glow. Take a chance, we don't have long. We'll be burning on and on. the unknown. I'll be the light that leads you home. When the world is tumbling down, I will be the ground that breaks your fall. I'll save you from it all, no. Through the fire we will go, underneath the sparks we glow. Take a chance, we don't have long. We'll be burning on and on. We'll be burning on and on. Whenever you're hiding from the storm, I'll be the light that keeps you warm. In an unfamiliar place, I will be the guiding face you know, waiting to take you home. Oh. Through the fire we will go, underneath the sparks we glow. Take a chance, we don't have long. We'll be burning on and on. We'll be burning on and on. Through every path to the unknown, I'll be the light that leads you home. When the world is tumbling down, I will be the ground that breaks your fall. I'll save you from it all, no. Through the fire we will go, underneath the sparks we glow. Take a chance, we don't have long. We'll be burning on